Hari Om. I was talking about depression, and this is the second part. Today I am going to speak on different traditions of yoga that have spoken about depression and how we can get out of this negative expression of our mind and find the positivity. The first very important tradition of yoga, that is Jnana Yoga, or for that matter, every type of yoga has given a goal of this path of yoga. But that goal is just not for the path of yoga, but it's the goal of life. Our life has a meaning. We are born. The birth was not our decision. The choice of our parents was not our decision. The country of our birth was not our decision. So we are born. If we are born and we have all these different abilities, we have been given different skills by the Mother Nature, then there has to be some purpose of our life. This is at the root of the idea of yoga. So yoga does attach meaning and purpose to life. And the meaning and purpose to life is to experience that oneness between me and the cosmic energy, the cosmic dimension. The purpose is finding that oneness between me and every object around me. The human beings, people in the society, the animals, the plants, the objects of the Mother Nature. Finding oneness between me and the rest is a very important purpose and meaning of our life as per yoga. Now, if you understand this meaning and purpose, some people, some yoga masters, some seers and rishis, they have said that the purpose of yoga is God realization. And even if you try and understand what is that God realization, it's nothing but understanding the divine dimension of the creation which has created everything. So there is certainly a fixed direction for yoga. And if you have a direction, then yoga says there is no way that you will be depressed. Now that idea of yoga is being also verified in psychology. The neurologist and psychiatrist, Dr. Viktor Frankl, who himself experienced the hardships of concentration camps in the Second World War, based his research on the people who survived the hardships of these concentration camps. And he observed that the people who had meaning and purpose of life, they were the ones who survived those hardships. The other people, even if they were physically strong, they perished, they died, they could not survive the hardships of those concentration camps. So psychology is also supporting this idea that yoga has presented, meaning and purpose of life. The second important idea of yoga is karma yoga. Karma yoga is a selfless action done without any attachment to the fruit of the action. So when an action is done as a responsibility, as a duty to help others without any ego, without any attachment to the fruit, this karma yoga brings that positive energy. And yogic texts say that karma yoga is a very powerful way to get out of depression. If you look at the life of great yoga masters such as Bhagwan Buddha, Bhagavan Buddha, he was very depressed. Then he practiced a lot of yoga techniques, a lot of meditation, and he had his own realization. And after that realization, what did he do? His journey started with depression. But when he was realized, he went back to the same society where he felt depressed. And what did he do? He started helping people. And the only wonderful idea was, like I was depressed, I could come out of that with these practices. Let me give these practices back to the people. So instead of becoming depressed again when he went back to society, he actually was helping millions, and his philosophy is still inspiring. And that is all the path of Karma Yoga. Now, this is also proven by psychology. There are many studies in psychology which say that if a depressed person is doing community service, community work, then it helps reduce the depression. So this path of Karma Yoga is a very important path. I'll just briefly tell you a very nice story. There was a man and he was walking on the beach. While walking, he noticed that on the beach there's already one man. And what is he doing? That man was actually trying to throw the fish in the water, and the wave used to come, and the wave used to bring thousands of fish on the beach. And he was trying to pick those who could not go back in the water with the wave. And they were struggling because the wave has receded, the wave has gone back, and they have no water. So he was picking up the fish and throwing them back into the water. Now this man, watching this guy throwing the fish, he went up to this man and said, "Oh, my dear friend, you're working very hard, but look, there are thousands of fish, and I don't think it really makes a big difference. Why are you throwing when thousands come on the beach and you can only pick up maybe 5 or 10? The man smiled and he said, "Yes, you're right." But he picked up one more fish, threw it back and said, "But it made the difference to this fish." Now this is the idea of Karma Yoga. This is a very powerful message. It gives a strong message to us as to what we should do. We should not just be focused on what I am getting and what I am having, but instead going out and helping. That's a very positive way of connecting with people. And this connection with Mother Nature, with people, is what's helpful in depression. Then there is a next aspect of yoga, which is again a very important aspect, that is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti is a path of experience of oneness on emotional level. When the emotions come, the beliefs are important. When the beliefs are there, the faith, dimension of faith is also important. So on the path of Bhakti Yoga, one has to direct all his emotional energy into the emotion of unconditional love. That unconditional love is there for everyone. And in that unconditional love, the practitioner sees the divine consciousness. There are many studies in psychology which have been done on people who have religious beliefs. And significantly, the depression is less in people who have religious beliefs. I'm going to tell you a story. This belief are very necessary for us in our day-to-day life. The belief may be connected with God, or maybe an atheist saying, I don't believe in any of this. Whatever is there. When he says he doesn't believe in something, it means there is a belief in no God. So what is most important as per the traditions of Bhakti Yoga is having belief, whether it's in your own abilities, whether it's in something else. Belief is must. So this is one story I'm going to tell you. There was a village, and that village didn't have rain for many years. And then the people there were really suffering. They hardly had food to eat. There was no work. They were all going through really tough times. A realized yogi, a yoga master, a guru, was passing through that village one day. And he saw that people are really suffering, and he could figure out it was all very dry. There were no trees, only few big trees, but not really helpful. So he asked people in the village, said, it seems you guys didn't have rain. And they all said, yes. Oh master, if you can help us. And the master had this feeling of compassion. And he said, okay, I will help you. But I want every one of you to be present. So tomorrow morning, I will initiate a yajna, a ritual, a holy fire ritual. You all have to come there, because after that ritual, there is going to be rain. And everyone said, yes, thank you so much, we will be there. The interesting part of this story is, out of the whole village, only one boy brought umbrella. If you think more about this story, what it tells you, that the rest didn't have any belief that this is going to work. What works in our life is this belief in ourselves. Look at the story of Thomas Edison. When he was in school, the teacher said he is too stupid to learn anything. He was kicked out by two of his employers. And look, he has 1,000 patents in his name. The electric bulbs that we see everywhere is his creation. While inventing the bulb, he failed hundreds of times. And what did he say? He says, I have not failed. I have just found 1,000 ways that doesn't work. Look at this attitude and look at this belief. This is all faith. That yes, one day I will find it. And this faith in yoga is connected with emotional energy. Belief is connected with emotional energy. Even if you are an atheist, doesn't matter. If your belief in no God is very strong, you still having the same emotional energy, and that's going to help you. There is a story of Hanuman. It's a beautiful story of Ramayana. And Hanuman was the monkey god, very powerful physically and very intelligent. But not only he was intelligent and physically strong, but he had extreme devotion to his master, Rama, Sri Ram. The story of Hanuman is all about devotion. Ram knew the strengths of Hanuman, so he entrusted responsibility of finding his wife, who was kidnapped by a demon king Ravan. But no one knew where she is. So that task was given to Hanuman. It was a very difficult task because they didn't have any clue. There was no tracking, GPS tracking or anything at that time. So Hanuman had to apply his mind, use his strengths. And then while he was exploring the ways, he came across some information that the Sita, the wife of Sri Ram, she is being held hostage in Lanka, Sri Lanka. And the information was given to him by birds. So a very intelligent Hanuman with clues finally understood where Sita is. With nothing in front, to finding Sita, crossing the ocean with innovative ideas and strength, reaching there, finding what is her condition, meeting the demon king Ravan, telling him to return Sita. All of these things Hanuman did and came back to tell Ram that we have no choice, we have to fight the war. This power of finding solutions is the power of faith, power of bhakti. So bhakti, the power of emotional energy, karma yoga, the power of selfless, non-attached actions done for others, and the focus on meaning and purpose of our life is a very important dimension of yoga that works against depression. Now if you talk about path of Hatha Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, where you talk about asanas, pranayam, meditation, mudras, bandhas, cleansing techniques, they also have a very powerful positive influence on mental health. There are hundreds of studies that say that just yoga poses or yoga poses with pranayam or mudras and bandhas or meditation or mantras, they help reduce the negative states of mind and influence this depression, reduces the depression in a significant way. These yoga practices, one hypothesis is it triggers the nerve called vagus nerve, and this vagus nerve is a parasympathetic nerve. Sympathetic nerves bring stress and parasympathetic nerve brings relaxation. Now depression is also a type of stress. It's connected with sympathetic nervous system activation. So these yoga practices which activate parasympathetic nervous system through vagus nerve, they also have a very positive influence on depression. So as a whole, I think all yoga practices have a very positive effect on depression. The most important thing that we need to focus on is how regularly we are practicing yoga. Even if it is for half an hour or even if it is for 1 hour, we must practice these techniques because regularity, sincerity is very important in changing the neural pathways, changing our brain, and that will certainly help depression. I'm going to stop here. Hari Om.